What is your accidentally caught your spouse cheating horror story? Dating this girl a few years back, and I became really good friends with her brother just because he appreciated my help during a difficult time for their family. Their father had abruptly passed away. 2 years into the relationship, the brother contacts me and asks to meet up for coffee and a serious conversation. Apparently he caught his own sister with another guy, mutual friend of ours, and this shit had been going on for like a year. As soon as he found out, I was told. Broke up with her. Still friends with her brother. Go figure. Edit, if I was gay I'd date him. Everyone happy? Haha, thanks for all the love. You should really appreciate his sacrifice. He probably soured his relationship with his sister for a long time. The fact that he is still friends with you makes it even worse. Hey, she realized she fucked up. She's a better person now cause of it, and their relationship is good still because he was doing this as an older brother. Not me, but a medical resident who I met on rotation recently. One of the nicest guy I ever met, super intelligent and hardworking, and training to be a trauma surgeon by humble as they come. He had been married for 2 years to his wife. One night he gets off a 30-hour call early and heads home to surprise his wife with some flowers and her favorite dessert. It was the anniversary of the day they first met. Only to find her in bed with a random dude. He was so exhausted and confused, he didn't know what to do and just left and went back to the hospital. I saw him at 5 a.m., sitting in the parking lot, hunched over crying. He didn't even have his phone with him, he was just sitting there. Man, nothing breaks your heart more than seeing a grown man cry. It's not something you see often. We called his dad up and he came and picked him up. The guy ended up taking a leave from his residency. Turns out, it wasn't the wife's first time sleeping around. Hope he gets back on his feet, he will make an amazing physician. You should tell him the last sentence. Thanks, I hope I see him again so I can tell him. Walked in on my girlfriend while she was having sex with another guy. What are you doing here? She says. You gave me a key, remember? I ended up not working today and wanted to surprise you. 15 years later she reaches out, leaves me a message that she'd like to talk. I figure she's doing some 12-step thing or something and wants to make amends. Nope. She wanted to try and sell me on Amway. One night she told me not to come over because she wasn't feeling well. But then my sister wanted this hoodie back that she'd borrowed, so I thought I'd stop over with chocolate and a Slurpee. I knocked on her door. She came to the upstairs window with only a blanket wrapped around her. I thought I told you not to come over. My sister needs her hoodie. Who's that? Says some male voice from her bedroom. Ah, I see how it is. I'll talk to you tomorrow, she says. Probably not. Have a good one. Did you get the hoodie back? Yes. She threw it out the window to me. It was a cold walk home. 2 weeks ago I sent a message to a mutual friend asking to borrow a router. He didn't answer, but no worries, he lives nearby. I'll just stop by and grab it. I pull up to his house and start heading down the driveway. He has a long country driveway, so it's a few seconds before I see my car. I drive a company vehicle during the day, already there. My heart began to sink, but they are friends, and business partners, maybe it's nothing. I got out of my van and look up to see the other guy shirtless in his bedroom. At this point my heart is down on my stomach and I am visibly shaking. I go in and immediately head upstairs. He is alone, now clothed. I say, I came to borrow the router, also have you seen my wife? The car is here. He then proceeds to give the worst improv I've ever heard. Huh? No, she was here at some point though. Whatever, I knew she was there, I just wanted him to admit it. I go down, take the router, and head back to the van where I finally encounter my wife topless trying to sneak around the side of his house. And now here I am. I hope you kept the router. Oh, absolutely. Edit, it's a plunge router for woodworking. Shame, 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 did y'all break things off? Not at this point. We've been together for 8 years. I still love her and care about her. Even if she did something shitty. I'm not saying that I'm willing to just let this slide, but I would like to at least try to work things out. But if it can, and we'll have to move on. After a week visiting friends in London, England, I flew back to Canada. I was supposed to do something with another group of friends when I got back, but plans fell through, so I drove the 4 hours home to the apartment we shared. She expected me home at 6 p.m. I'd been up for 30 straight hours and got home at 6 a.m., wanting nothing more than to fall into bed. There was an extra set of feet, attached to some asshole, when I walked in. Same thing happened to me, but I'm a lady. It just blindsided me, and even though I know it's not my fault, it really fucked me up. It was years ago, but we'd been together a while, and it's a big leap to invest in someone again when their true colors might take 6 years to emerge, while you were cheerfully building a life together and thinking they were solid. I hate him less for the betrayal than for how it changed me. I kind of lost my religion, the unquestioned belief that people are who they say they are. I miss the person I was. She expected good things and was usually right. Went home and my husband wasn't home, which was weird for him at 8 p.m, when an hour earlier he had told me he was going home. Had a gut feeling, went to one of our female friends, who he claimed was like a sister, apartment, his truck is there. I knock. No answer. Try the door, it's unlocked. Walk into the living room, nobody there. Hear noises in the bedroom. Walk in and lo and behold, there they are. Tried to make it work over next couple of months, but I can't get past it, didn't even want him to touch me. Divorced 4 years ago. Edit, our female friend, this was a mutual friend who we had both known for years, went to high school with, etc. I can only imagine how really traumatizing it is to catch your spouse doing shit like that. How did you even react? It's really horrifying. I hope you're doing okay. Initially I just froze in shock. I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. He came up to me and literally dropped to his knees apologizing, and I couldn't say a word. I just left and went home. I am doing very well now though, time is a good healer, and I believe everything happens for a reason. I've been dating a Navy man for about 2 years now, and I'm happier than I've ever been. Holy shit, you tried to make it work? I had the same thing after I found out my ex-wife cheated, and the every day it was torture thinking about how some guy must have touched her here or there, and how little our marriage meant, etc., etc. I would suggest to anyone reading this who is thinking of trying to make it work, just get the fuck out. Leave. Save your dignity. My best friend has 2 young daughters, and their father was cheating on my friend with a woman who also has a young daughter. There are pictures on this woman's social media of my friend's 2 kids and her daughter playing with some lovey-dovey crap about their little family. Meanwhile, my friend is working 2 jobs to support her 2 young kids because her boyfriend isn't motivated to do much but smoke weed and make lewd comments to her. She was crushed when she found out. On Valentine's Day. Because he'd used her credit card to buy this woman an expensive floral arrangement. When he showed up with nothing for her on Valentine's Day, she started snooping, found the Instagram posts, and curled up into a ball and cried for what felt like a week. I'm not a violent person, but I've never wanted to kill a man so bad in my life. Garbage human he sounds like. He is. They have thankfully broken up and she's dating someone else. My regret is that her kids have to spend time with this piece of trash and he's going to give them the impression that being treated like that is okay. As their auntie, I do all I can to teach them to be strong women. It's hard for me not to trash talk their dad, but that isn't healthy either. I got a new job with a cell phone company. Free phone for me, $15 a month for her. First bill comes in with call detail. She was on the phone an hour a day with this number while supposedly at work. I call, dude answers. I hang up. I ask her, she lies and said it was a gal pal of hers. I told her I know she is lying and call it again. Dude answers. Fuck you, Brooke. Fucking Brooke. You might as well. It seems everyone else did. I have a friend whose baby mama was living with him at the time. They have 2 kids and he worked less than a mile down the street from where he lived. Neighborhood drug dealer lived 2 doors down, and a friend of ours was there buying drugs. He was waiting in the dude's driveway when he saw a car pull up at friend's house. Dude gets out, goes to the door, friend's baby mama answers, hugs the guy, who was clearly not family, and invites him in, with their kids in the house supposedly asleep in bed. Our friend bangs on the door and confronts her, she doesn't care and is just like, so what? You gonna snitch on me? Our friend is like, yeah. Goes down to our friend who was getting cheated on's work and tells him immediately. That's a good friend right there. Her phone got a text from her friend who was in the kitchen with her. So I assumed one of them sent it to me, opened her phone to see a penis. Her friend doesn't have a penis. Now I'm divorced and don't trust texts from friends. So whose was it? Her current fiancé. He doesn't know what he's in for. I had a girl I worked with who put me in her phone as Rachel. I'm a guy, but apparently she wanted to talk to me on the sneaky snake. I caught my ex thanks to fucking Pokemon Go of all things. She mentioned Pokemon Go was using lots of her data. I explained that in her settings she could see how much data an app was using. I proceeded to show her and prove to her it wasn't by pointing out Tinder was using much more data. It was sad but also funny the way it went down. I've posted this before but it's still funny to remember. I found out through Pokemon Go too. She asked me to take her phone when I walked to the store so I could hatch one of her 1 kilometer's eggs. She gets a Skype message from a guy that said, "Hey, I'm home, are you free to send that pic?" Immediately suspicious, so I open it and lo and behold, a record of sex going back around 3 weeks. Went to the store, got what I needed, went back to the house, packed my stuff in my suitcase, was visiting her house from out of state, called one of my best friends who drove an hour to come and get me. I will never ever be able to express how much that meant to me. Sat her down as he was about to pull up to her house and told her I knew everything and that I was leaving and probably never coming back. Went to stay with my buddy for the rest of my trip. Muted her after she called 10 times in the span of 5 minutes, ended up calling her when I was on my way to the airport a few days later to just sell whatever of my shit was still at her place and hung up before she had a chance to beg me to come back. She gave you her phone and didn't have a lock? She wasn't exactly the smartest person I've ever met, she never had a lock on her phone. I just don't understand why she'd leave herself so exposed if she was cheating on me. Like, if you're gonna be a shitty person, you've gotta cover your ass. Girlfriend ran over her phone by accident and destroyed the screen. Asked me to back up all her stuff and transfer it to her new Pixel. Use backup tool that captures all sorts of dirty messages and nudes with another guy. Did you delete all her stuff? Lol. Well, I didn't end up putting it on her new phone so I guess so. She was away for the weekend and we had a long and terse conversation when she returned. This kind of e-outing cheater seems very common these days. Had an acquaintance, serial cheater. She was outed by her husband because her WhatsApp was mirrored on their common laptop. She was apparently texting her paramour right next to him as they were in bed. Turns out that the guy was working on the laptop and saw the whole gory thing in real time, screenshots and all. He dumped the whole thing on Facebook, tagged her sister and all that. Their Facebook pages was a mine of drama for days on end. She also once got a hickey on her neck from another paramour and then burnt her neck using a hair iron to cover it up. How do I know? She called my wife at 3:30 a.m. asking if she could borrow my wife's hair iron. Edit, they are still together. The guy is a 4 out of 10 at best and is a decade older to the chick who is a straight 7 on a bad day. She was a bona fide model and a TV show host on a major network channel. Guy is also super loaded and they have 3 kids so I guess they just put up with it. Also it was an arranged marriage scenario. We were engaged and he had a drinking problem. He was blacked out drunk, accidentally butt dialed me, and I listened to the whole thing. Only to find out after that it was with a prostitute. In retrospect, would you have been more upset if it were a legit affair with someone he knew versus anonymous sex with a sex worker? Me at the time would be more upset if it was someone he knew. Me now is more upset about it being a sex worker because I was with someone so gross that no one wanted to have sex with him so he just decided to pay. I had a buddy who walked in on his wife with another guy and he just grabbed a bat and proceeded to beat the hell out of the guy. Said there were wedding photos and family photos, they also had a kid, so there was no way the guy didn't know she wasn't single. Apparently she had her ring on as well. I don't really know too many details other than the guy lived, but apparently at one point he was holding his hands up to block my buddy and the result was 2 broken wrists. Afterwards my buddy called the police, told them what happened, and then made himself a grilled cheese. Cops came and arrested him without incident and he spent a little time in jail, about a year if my memory is correct. Also, despite him being a nurse at the time, the army wouldn't let him join as a medic because of his record but instead allowed him to join as an infantryman. We used to joke it was because they knew he had an ability to inflict violence, which is how we met and how we heard the story in the first place. Absolutely no idea what happened to the wife or the child because when he told us the story he was remarried to a different girl, who he now has a kid with. Your buddy is also an asshole. Yeah, the other guy is a douche, and should know better, but that other guy is also nothing to your buddy. He owed him nothing, and had made no promises to him. If your buddy wanted to be mad at anyone, it should have been his ex-wife. She was the one who chose to cheat and break their vows. I say this as someone who's divorced because his ex said she wouldn't stop cheating. I know the people she was fucking, even have to work with some of them, and harbor them no ill will. She'd have just found someone else to fuck. Oh, I know, I don't think he was right to beat the guy like that. For what it's worth, he said that he wouldn't do it again but he just sort of lost his mind when he walked in on it. Honestly, while he never outright said it, I'm pretty sure it's because the guy was black and they were from the South. Ultimately, I met him years later and he was a different dude. Me and my girlfriend were long distance and she had a habit of going quiet sometimes. She'd been texting me for the last few weeks but had made excuses not to come visit. I went to a party that my friend had organized. I met a friend of his who told me he had a new girlfriend. I was surprised he hadn't mentioned her, so I asked who she was. This lady introduced me to my girlfriend. She'd told everyone that we broke up, and had been dating my friend for about a month. She didn't bother to tell me. Edit, I posted this, went to bed, and didn't expect it to be so popular. I'll try and reply/explain today. Is the friend who organized the party the same friend that your ex was cheating with? Yes, the guy who organized the party was dating my girlfriend. He didn't invite me, as we weren't especially close and I lived in a different town. Another friend invited me and I had actually hoped to go there and see if any of my girlfriend's friends were there, so I could find out what was wrong with her. My ex did that too. Told all her friends we were broken up so she could hoe around. I didn't find out until months after the fact when her best friend found out my ex had slept with her boyfriend. Your ex is a fucking whore. Huh? The one I'm dating? I'm with you fellas. My ex-fiancée did that shit. Not only did she tell her co-workers that she was single, she would ask me to come visit her at work, take her out for lunch, then when she was asked about why her ex was around, she'd lie and say that I was stalking her and wouldn't leave her alone. We lived together. That was when I remembered that her ex wouldn't stop stalking her when we first started dating. That was a sickening epiphany to realize that she lied at the beginning and made me the other man. I had thought the worst of this dude, and he didn't have any more of an idea than I did about what was going on. When he and I had a tense face-off, he just said, "One day, she's going to do this to you." I thought he was talking shit, and it turns out, he was looking out for me more than anyone. Then, to find out the woman I loved and lived with was framing me up as a crazed abusive partner. Ugh. I was sick to my stomach for weeks after that betrayal. Shit was so fucked up that to this day I don't know whether she was telling the truth or lying about being diagnosed with a pathological lying problem. And could have just been saying that to deflect blame. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. One of my former coworkers loaded an SD card with a scanned project file on it. He put it into the conference room p.c. We were treated to naked pics of his wife fucking another guy. We were just stunned. This was in a senior budgetary meeting with the outside accountants and auditors. And he was sitting right there and we were looking at his wife and another guy going at it. I reached over and shut the projector off. Nobody said anything. He got up and walked out and drove off in his car. Left his phone and laptop sitting on the table. He wound up driving to his parents' house 3 states away. He was gone for a week. Jesus, that's crazy. Was the company cool and let him keep his job while being gone for a week? Yeah, he had vacation and flex time and all that. It was not a big deal. He was a production scheduler and he was there to answer questions, but we got by without him. Dear God. The way the story read, it sounded like he was just calmly going through the pictures and eventually you had to stop him. He put the card in and before he could get to the mouse on the table, about 8 of them just popped up on the big screen along with some folders. He was looking for the scanned documents and the PowerPoint he had been working on, and the computer was set to seek pictures or some such, and somebody said his name a little strangely, of course, and then he looked up and everything froze and I reached over and shut the projector off. And he just got up and walked out, leaving the card behind. I thought that was the weirdest part. Did he do it on purpose? Because I feel like that was the best revenge against both of them. No, not at all. He went out to his car, stood there for a minute. Then he puked on the ground, and got in and calmly drove off. I'd have been freaking out. Not me. My dad. He told me the story a few years back. So, some of my mom's family were visiting from out of town and they had planned a night at the bingo, which my dad couldn't attend because he was working 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. He finished work early and on his way home, saw my babysitter on the street. "You are not with my name?" "No, your wife called me at around 8 p.m., saying she wasn't feeling well and that she would stay home." My dad drove home, tried the front door. Locked, no lights. He entered the house by the basement door. Went up the stairs. Heard them, a few feet away. My mom. And her cousin. 2 years later, he almost left her, with me in tow, but stayed so I could have a normal life. Most of the time, I wish he'd left, because he wouldn't have worked 90 to 100 a week to avoid being home, and could have been happier. For those who are wondering, my mom had a long-time affair with her cousin, starting before she met my dad. She wasn't happy either, I think, but my dad was a good catch. Yes, I'm sure he is my dad, we look so much the same. Yes, they are still together, and after a year of being angry, I decided to let go, because their relationship has nothing to do with me. Just sad for both of them. First cousin? What was the age difference? First cousins. They're about the same. How did you find out your mom fucked her cousin though? We were out dining with my girlfriend and I told off my dad for being rude with mom. Once home, he stayed in the car, which happens sometimes cause he is old and ill. Went back to help him out and we had a conversation that started with him saying, "You don't know everything." Then he spilled the beans. What the fuck? And it is only part of the story. What's the rest? Honeymoon. Went on a road trip for 2 weeks. Part of the road trip was to visit said cousin. Dad woke up during the night. Mom wasn't in bed. He went to the bathroom, heard noises. Saw everything. I would have left my wife here and there. Come back home on your own. He went and spoke to the priest, who told him to forgive. That they had a commitment, vows. Dad only got to know mom later that year. I would have left on the spot, and called her out in the family. Why didn't he leave? Because he's a good man. My mom's dad died a few months prior to my parents' wedding, leaving my grandma with 2 kids at home, uncle and aunt, one who was going nowhere in life, drugs and stuff, and one disabled, Down syndrome. He couldn't bear leaving the family, his family now, dealing with that alone. Your dad sounds strong. I hope you guys are close. We butted heads so hard for a while. I resented him for not being present. But when I hit my late 20s/early 30s, things came together. He loves me so much, he's so proud of me. He just didn't know how to express it. Born in 1943, when real men had no emotions. Went to see him at the hospital that's a whole other story here. My mom and I came into the room at the same time. She went straight to give him a kiss on the cheek, but his hands were open towards me and he stared in my direction, as if she weren't there. Broke my heart. He's a superhero, a force of nature. He built the 3,400 square foot home I grew up in, while working full time. He survived a massive heart attack by sleeping and he overcame his manliness, and now tells me that he loves me, kisses me on the cheeks and all. He's been sick for a few years, spent most of the last one at the hospital. Can't imagine the day he's gone.